Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been like 10 days since I've been in the shop. Thank you all again for your patience. I've had to go out of state right before Thanksgiving for some family matters and take care of that. And then Thanksgiving hit, so I've been kind of off for a little bit. But I really want to stay with like weekly stuff so that I can hopefully drive us up a little bit on the charts. But today, we're getting back to work on the car because I still got a rear frame section to finish. If you're new to the channel, thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe if you can. It's free. Go back through my catalog and check out and see if you like any of the videos that I've made before. I got some street car stuff, diesel truck stuff, lots of race car stuff. It's free, like I said. Doesn't hurt you, but it helps me a ton, and I would greatly appreciate it if you did. I'm trying to grow this thing up a little bit and share some of my adventures with everybody. So today, again, like I said, we're going on part 4, I think, of finishing the rear clip on the race car. On the agenda for today is going to be, we got to get the car level, side to side, front to back, maybe a little closer to the ground. Probably not. It's probably fine. And then we got to start prepping and measuring for the rear frame sections to the back. I probably have enough tubing to start doing some stuff. I don't really know. I might. Well, I know I'm gonna need to buy some roll cage tubing. I definitely have enough frame tubing. I've got more than enough. So we'll get to work on that, and then we'll see where it leads us in part 4. I'd love to get this video out quickly for you guys because you had to wait, but you know, I don't want to rush it. So let's get to work. We got to start stripping the old chassis as well. I got to get the buckets out of it. I got to take measurements off that to figure out how far back on the rear frame to go. I got to cut that back section there that I added in straight down. It's really hard to point when you're got a front facing camera. Anyway, I also have to clean up the shop because I can't get in because I had to do oil changes and brake jobs and tire rotations on my street cars so that they would make it on my road trip. Anyway, let's get to work because we got a lot to cover. If you don't have one of these in your shop, I suggest getting one. It's just a carbide blade chop saw. It's kind of old. It's just an old Milwaukee 14-inch. I don't remember where I got it, but it must have been very cheap. I actually have a flea market around town that sells tools, and you can buy stuff like this for wicked cheap. And it's going to help me cut these frame sections up pretty well. I mean, it's not as fast as Sawzall or cutting wheel or whatever, but it does cut square, but only if you push down gently and let the saw do the work. It's really good for starting fires and throwing sparks. Now over here, remember I built this little extension piece because somebody cut the frame back too far and cut the shock parts out and stuff. And I kind of boogered some 1/4-inch plate steel in here. Well, I got to cut this thing to exactly where the end of this is so that I get a proper measurement with that one over there and the one that I took off. So the way I did that was I set my square to the edge of it right here until it touched, you know, where it was like pretty much lined up with that edge. And that's where I scribed this line. Now, in order to go straight down at a 90 so that I can build the uprights off, I got a level on it. I just set it to level and then scribed a line. So that'll set me up with the same measurement as that side, and then I can build uprights off of it. We are making some serious progress. I got these measured out that they are equidistant front to back from the floor on both sides. The car is as level as you can get it. And I measured the distance between here and there on the inside, and I cut a piece to that length. Now, I like putting them flat like this instead of standing upright, because if you get hit in the back, I just took it out of measurement. Now I gotta put it back in, but I'll do that in a minute. If you get hit in the back, this way is a lot stronger than straight up, because straight up will bend. We've had cars do that before. So let me get this back frame section tacked in, and then I'm gonna weld it, and then, hey, it's time to start working on bars. Status update. It appears like the rear frame section is in. I don't know, it looks kind of straight, I guess. I measured it. Car was level-ish, and I measured it. So, I welded it, so it's no turning back now. Anyway, all that really matters is this section anyway. This is all cosmetic, basically. All it's there to hold the body, bumper, and fuel cell, so whatever. This is straight, so that's all that matters. Anyway, we're at the point now where we have to start mocking in the cage uprights, and this is going to take a lot more fabrication than my time-lapse battery will allow. This type of stuff is an absolute process, and I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm just praying that it's straight, because your mind can play tricks on you. You can think, oh, it's one side looks higher up than the other, and the other side doesn't look straight at all, and then you measure it and it's exactly what you measured before, so who knows? And it's all in just doing it. I've done this before with other cars. Like, I've reframed the front of my old mini stock back in 08, I think, whatever the hell year that was, or 09, whatever, because the car got wrecked after I bought it, and I had to rehorn and clip the front. And as long as it's the right length, and as long as it's not too cockeyed, I guess we're in business. All right, I got to get back to work. I'm going to show you, though, how I'm going to do these cage uprights. Now, these are a part of the original car, obviously. I cut them off flush. We're going to drill a hole or two, maybe just one, bevel the edge with a grinder, and sleeve it with 1.5-inch tubing, and then we're going to run it straight down into the chassis where it used to be. Basically, we're just going to rosette weld, sleeve, and throw a tube in here at the right plane, and we'll reset that, and then we build literally everything off of that. Everything's going to come down here. It's going to come, well, this has to go up a little bit because it's in the way. It's been bent down with stuff on it. Come down, and then this is going to go across here, only about this far off of it. Tube straight back, a couple uprights, a couple more uprights, a couple more uprights with a tube straight back and intersecting this one. Some very basic stuff, but it's really time consuming, you know. I mean, I just did this rear frame section, and after welding it up, I'm still thinking it's not straight, but I know I'm gonna measure it and it's gonna be fine, and nothing's gonna be different. So we're gonna get to work. Again, I'm working with old stuff here, you know. I got rusty metal, and all the tubing is left outside, and all that is rusty. Luckily, you just take a flap disc or a grinder to it, make it nice and clean, and even a crappy old electric welder, or a Chicago electric welder from Harbor Freight, can do almost miracles. I wouldn't call them miracles, but you know, they can weld it pretty well. I'm not a rate my weld kind of person, so I'm not going to be showing you those, except for these, which I'm kind of proud of. So here's what I'm talking about. If you're sectioning a pipe like this, drill some, I put 1/2 inch rosette holes in it, piece of 1.5 inch tubing, about 4 inches long, bevel the edge, and I got her down here. It looks pretty straight. It takes a long time, honestly, because if you got a shop like mine, I mean, I'm not, oh my God, this place is horrible. Anyway, I'm not what you would call a fabrication shop. This is just a disgusting, dirty race shop with no storage. So it takes you a little while to make sure you get everything as clean and as flushed and as straight as you're gonna get, so that when you put something together, right, you're happy with it and it goes together properly. So take your time. It is starting to take shape. The down bars are back in. Don't mind this one right here. This is just resting there because I mean, that one's resting there too. So I just put that pipe out of the way. Yeah, we're making progress. It is starting to look like a car again. I forgot how far back this thing actually sits because I've had it cut in half for so long that I forgot that I'm going to run out of a lot of room in the shop here. So I'm going to continue on this at another time. We got a lot done today. We got the down bars put back in. We got the frame sectioned back out. All we have to do is put the cage back in it, put the spring buckets in, put the fuel cell in, and then we can reassemble. But for now, I got to go back inside because I got to get my kid off the bus pretty soon. It's like my only weekday that I get off, and you can't mess around with work and home life if you've got one of these. You got to plan your time out accordingly, and you know, you just don't want it to take over your life because you don't want it to ruin anything. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to chill out. That'll end day one, and I'll be back. Shoot, I might be back tomorrow. All right, I'm back for day two. I found a couple little things that I got to adjust just to make sure that it's right. And I'm just going to start cutting and welding until I run out of pipe, which, to be fair, is going to be very soon. This is not going to take a long time for me to run out. But, I mean, we all knew I had to get some pipe at some point because I was going to run out. We all knew it. I got to build bumpers. I still got a lot of stuff to do. So I still have to get that. I don't know when I'm going to, but at some point I have to. So today is just going to be cutting, chopping, notching, measuring. Yeah, like I said, this is a really tedious process, and you just got to have a lot of patience and make sure you do it right. Measure a whole bunch of times before you cut, and if you screw it up, well, you screw it up. You just throw that part away or repurpose it for some other use, and you just move on. And that's basically where I'm at right now. Is we got to make a few adjustments to the stuff we already did, and then get back to fabricating. And hopefully I have enough battery for time lapse, especially with how cold it is in here. I got my heater going, but there's no insulation in here, so it kind of just goes right outside. So, all right, back to work. a tubing notcher. And I've been racing for like 20 plus years, or at least involved in it for that long. I gotta tell you, this makes life easy. I mean, I can just whip bars together because I know where to notch them. I mean, look at this. I've never had a tubing notcher. And I can even like do the weirdo one at the bottom. Like, look at that. That's amazing. I've been doing this for, don't mind me, seriously. This is just me gushing over parts and tools I've never had. Like, I can just kind of notch whatever the hell I want, and it just goes. I mean, I'm from the old school, okay? This used to be my tubing notcher. My brother and my father and I, we used to notch all these bars by hand. My brother and my dad built their old car. I can't show you, it's not here, stupid. And they did every single bar, including door bars, roof, front, everything by hand. It's a cheap part from Harbor Freight. I think I showed it to you before, where I put the new nut on the very end of it. Here, let me. Right. Yeah, my finger's too fat. But anyway, I mean, I'm just notching stuff up instantly. I used to sit there and grind and get it perfect. Oh, it doesn't quite fit. Grind it some more. Here, notch it, chuck it on, it's done. This has cut my time in like by a quarter. Anyway, enough of me gushing about tools that are 100 years old that I've never owned. I'm really running out of pipe quick, so I think I'm only gonna finish half of the back and the right side. And that might be it until I can get steel. Yep, I ran out of pipe. These 2-inch pieces are really all I have left. Luckily, I didn't have a lot of waste. I mean, I'm looking around, and I don't see any other pieces. So to end up with like 1.5 inches and 2 inches of waste, that's pretty good. Again, 2/3 done. This side's done. That side's done. Well, the rear's done, I should say. I still got to put that side on, obviously. I got to put a fuel cell protector bar in. I got to put the fuel cell itself in. I got to put the spring buckets in, and then attach the rear deck lid section, which looks like it's right back in the same place, which is nice. I measured everything against what I had on the old clip. It's still outdoors, so I checked that out, and everything's actually kind of measuring up exactly the same on, well, almost on accident. Also, I want to plate this section that I put together here, put a little square plate on it just for some strength. And then we can reassemble it, like body mounts, body, etc. Other than that, I've got some stuff to do up front as well. I think I'm gonna start redoing a lot of this stuff, like this bumper. Whew, man, this thing is used up. I mean, this used to stand up like this, and over the years I've literally smashed it flat. And it's cracked in some spots. And speaking of cracked, the motor mount here, you can see, is actually kind of dimpled in and bent over. So I want to pull that out and see if I can't fix that. Also, this one over here, I'm going to go over there and show you. The left side here, you can actually see, let me go, is cracked. Right there, around the back side. Obviously, at some point, I have hit the wall with the right side a few times. Yeah, I mean, it's pinched here a little bit, and it's definitely smushed the door bars in. I made this extra bar on the outside to widen it out, and you can see it's been dimpled here. And I've definitely, yeah, you see bend. I've hit the right side pretty hard a few times. Luckily, I've never really hit the suspension, and The center section still measures out straight, so I mean, it's just kind of pooched. But when you hit, I mean, the engine weighs a whole lot, and it rocked the engine over. Like I said, the engine weighs a lot, and you can actually see here, it looks like it's been touching the cross member with the bottom of the oil pan. I don't want that, so I gotta fix this, maybe get a new one. I'm not sure. I'm not even thinking this thing's aligned properly, because this one's back here and this one's got like this much gap, so I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to string the engine in the car to make sure that's straight. Anyway, the fact remains that I have to get steel, and I work a day job, so I really want to get a video out to you guys, because I had to take a week off, and I want to stay in YouTube's algorithm to try to keep growing this thing and getting more subscribers. I know this one seems kind of weak on content, and I do apologize for that, but again, you know, family comes first, and I'm going to take care of them first, and things just kind of happen out of my control. So I'll make time to get some steel. You don't have to see the rest of this fabrication process, because you already saw what I did there. When I start cutting things out, like spring buckets and the old fuel cell mounts, then I think I'll start another video. But thank you all for watching again. I'm sorry this is dragging on, but I've told you before that this is raw. Like, this is me doing things that are real time. You know, when I win, I win. When I fail, I fail. And I don't hide anything. I show every single thing that I do. You know, I show everything. And this is real life. You know, this is just me trying to show people that you can do this stuff on your own. The problem with something like this is that it takes time. And I really just, I'm kind of like this, like hoping that this content isn't boring, because if you got boring content, people don't want to watch. And anyway, thank you all again. I do appreciate it. Please subscribe and help me grow this thing. I'm just a short track racer with a dream. I mean, this is it. You know, this is just me in a garage, and I just want to race. And if that means I have to build my own rear ends, build my own transmissions, fabricate my own chassis, we're gonna do it to go racing. And I'm gonna take you all along for the ride as much as I possibly can. So thank you all again. Tell a friend if you find somebody who might like some of the content that I have. Last winter, I know I had a bunch of car content, like I bought a Crown Vic and I hopped it up and did some goofy stuff with that. But I think this year we're gonna be doing a lot of race car stuff. So again, it might not be a lot per episode, but if I could get some subscribers and start getting some ad revenue in here, then we'll put some fun stuff together, you and I. So thank you all again. I appreciate it. And we'll see you again next time.